Did you know the very first webcam was invented just to keep an eye on a coffee pot? It sounds like a joke, but it's true, and the story tells us so much about how innovation really happens. Let's travel back to the early 1990s, to the Trojan Room at the University of Cambridge's computer laboratory. Picture this, a group of about 15 academics and researchers, all fueled by a steady stream of coffee. But there was a problem. The lab's main coffee machine was located in a corridor, a bit of a trek from their offices. You can imagine the frustration. You'd get up, walk all the way down there, only to find the pot was empty. It was a classic first-world problem, but for these brilliant minds, it was a problem that demanded a clever solution. This daily annoyance sparked an idea in the minds of two researchers, Dr. Quentin Stafford Fraser and Dr. Paul Yordetsky. They thought, what if we could check the coffee pot remotely? They didn't have smartphones or Wi-Fi back then. This was the Wild West of the early internet. So, they decided to get creative. They rigged up a simple camera, one of those old, clunky grayscale ones, and pointed it directly at the coffee pot. This camera captured an image, very low resolution, 128 by 128 pixel, black and white image, and it took a picture about 3 times a minute. Now, how did they get that picture from the camera to their computers? This is where their genius really shined. They wrote a special piece of software, a server program, that would grab the image from the camera. Then, they wrote another program, a client program, that their colleagues could run on their own computers. When someone ran this program, it would connect to the server and display the latest picture of the coffee pot right on their screen. Suddenly, from the comfort of their desks, they could see if there was fresh coffee waiting for them. The problem was solved. No more wasted trips. No more coffee-less despair. It was a simple, elegant solution to a very specific, local problem. The system was an instant hit within the lab. Everyone loved it. It was practical, a little bit silly, and a perfect example of computer science ingenuity. For about a year, this little coffee cam was just an internal lab secret, a quirky little perk for the Cambridge researchers. But then, in 1993, something big happened. Web browsers started to support images. Before this, the web was mostly just text. But now, you could embed pictures directly into a web page. One of the researchers, Dr. Martin Johnson, had a thought. He realized he could connect their CoffeeCam server to the internet. Why keep this amazing invention all to themselves? So, he wrote a simple script, and on November 22, 1993, the Trojan Room coffee pot went live on the World Wide Web. For the first time in history, people from all over the globe could open their web browser and see a nearly live image of a coffee pot in a random corridor in England. The response was immediate and overwhelming. People were fascinated. Remember, this was completely new. The idea of seeing a live image from somewhere else in the world, in real time, was mind-blowing. The website became an instant internet phenomenon. It got millions of hits from people in every corner of the planet. They weren't just checking for coffee. They were witnessing the birth of a new technology. The site became a strange sort of landmark, a quirky tourist destination on the new digital frontier. People would tune in just to see the pot being filled or emptied. Sometimes, lab members would even hold up signs to the camera for the global audience. It was a unique, shared experience that connected people in a way that had never been possible before. This little experiment had a massive impact. It demonstrated the power of sharing live images over the web. Other developers and engineers saw what the Cambridge team had done and were inspired. They started thinking, if they can do that with a coffee pot, what else could we do? This led to a wave of innovation. Soon, people were setting up their own webcams to show everything from fish tanks to the view from their window. The technology that was born out of a desire for caffeine was now being used for entertainment, for science, for connection. Companies started to see the commercial potential. And within a few years, commercially produced webcams, like the Connectix QuickCam, hit the market. These were designed for everyday consumers, making it easy for anyone to broadcast video from their computer. The evolution was rapid. From grainy black and white images updated a few times a minute, we moved to color, then to full-motion video, and eventually to the high-definition streaming we take for granted today. Think about it. Every Zoom call you join, every live stream you watch, every video chat you have with family across the world, it all traces its roots back to that one coffee pot. The technology has become so integrated into our lives that we barely even think about it. It's in our laptops, our phones, our home security systems. It connects us for work, for school, and for our personal lives. It allows us to be present in places we can't physically be. But the story of the Trojan Room coffee pot isn't just a fun piece of tech trivia. It's a powerful lesson about innovation. It shows that great ideas don't always come from a grand plan or a corporate strategy meeting. Sometimes they come from ordinary people trying to solve a simple, everyday problem. It was a project driven by human need, or, in this case, a human craving for coffee. It was playful, experimental, and born out of a collaborative environment where people were encouraged to tinker and build things just for the fun of it. That's a spirit of innovation that is so important to remember. It's about being curious, creative, and not being afraid to build something a little bit silly, because you never know where it might lead. The original coffee pot itself was eventually retired. After running for almost a decade and becoming an internet legend, the plug was finally pulled on August 22, 2001. The researchers felt it had run its course and the lab was moving. The final image captured by the camera was of someone's hand pressing the off button. The pot itself was later sold at an auction for over £3,000. It's now a museum piece, a physical artifact from the dawn of the visual internet. So, the next time you turn on your webcam, take a moment to remember its humble origins. Remember the brilliant, caffeine-deprived scientists at Cambridge who, in trying to solve a simple problem, accidentally invented a technology that would change how we communicate and connect with the world forever. It's a beautiful reminder that sometimes the most groundbreaking innovations start with something as simple as wanting to know if there's any coffee left. Small daily frustrations often drive the greatest technological shifts. If you enjoyed this little trip down tech history lane, don't forget to hit that like button and follow 4 more stories behind the technology we use every day. See you in the next one.